For those of you who do not know, the Lakeshore Rail Alliance is a program of all aboard Erie 501c3 in Erie, PA. We are an umbrella organization focused on regional rail advocacy along the Lakeshore corridor. Our member organizations include just about every rail advocacy organization between New York and Chicago. So we've been at this for a few years, but it really has taken off lately with this proposal for the Great Lakes Limited, which we'll get into here in a little bit. Some of you may have seen the presentation that we did on that, and this is going to be much more abbreviated. If you want to see the full presentation, just get in touch and I'll send it to you, or I'll do the presentation for you or your group. But it really lays out why we decided to propose this. Actually, in terms of a lot of things, it's relatively easy to do. Amtrak may be interested in it, but I'll get into that as we go. Some of this is kind of repetitious, but I think we need to lay out the background of where we are, particularly in Ohio, that we have a lot of areas that are what we call transportation deserts, where there's little choice but to drive if you can drive or if you can afford it. There's little public transportation. What there is doesn't connect or connects very poorly. It's infrequent. And as far as intercity passenger rail service goes, we all know all we have right now are trains only at night, which is a problem for a lot of reasons, mostly, especially for passenger convenience, but also for us as advocates, because it doesn't give us anything to build on. It doesn't give us anything to point to. So rail passenger service is an abstract idea. And that's a difficult thing when you're faced with legislators and others who are rather skeptical in the first place. And this brings us to the problem that we have with Ohio in particular. Over the last 50 years, it's shown little interest in passenger rail, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon, notwithstanding the corridor ID projects that are going on right now. There's no guarantee that anything's going to happen there. So we have to hedge our bets, face the fact that Ohio really is as it is now, is a barrier between the Midwest and the East Coast. If you want more rail service between those two mega regions, and you have to rely on Ohio, it just isn't likely to happen. So as a result, we're falling behind. Other areas are progressing in the country where you have a more enlightened leadership, and that's not something that's going to go away anytime soon. But the basic thing is, in terms of just for the population of this area, we're lagging in mobility. It's hard to get around without a car, and that also has an impact on economic development. So from a variety of viewpoints, this is a problem, and it's a problem for everybody, not just us advocates. So here's where we'd like to be, and it's pretty basic. You all know what this is about. What we are interested in is a regional multimodal public transportation system focused on passenger rail. It has the basic tenets. It should be convenient, should go when you want to go, should be frequent, should have modern amenities, and it should be at least auto competitive in terms of trip time in endpoint to endpoint. This isn't even what you'd call world class. It's a start. If you look at what you do in Europe, just their basic services are far better than this. But this is where we are, and this is where we should start. Here's where we are now. How do we get there? And I think that one thing that has been missing for years on the advocacy end is that we've either been focused on the national level or the state level, but we haven't been thinking regionally, even though nearly all these routes are interstate routes. So this is a different focus. And it started out as a focus on the Lakeshore route in particular. Part of this is to call for solutions that are outside the box. We need workarounds for state inaction. That can include the Great Lakes Limited proposal of ours, and also maybe creating joint authorities or things of that sort for Northern Ohio or the whole region as a workaround to the state of Ohio. I really think that what's going to end up happening if we succeed at this, that this is going to drive Ohio to finally get where they should have been all along. So the whole thing about this is to be inclusive, to bring in all groups that are interested in this kind of thing, not be bound by state boundaries or other artificial barriers, and develop a common agenda that's doable, that's step by step, that we can, agree on and push. At the end of it, I hope that what we have is a broad-based campaign that can do this. And I think this is again where the Great Lakes Limited comes in because it's easy to understand. It's easy to focus on. It's simple. I like to say it's almost elegant in its simplicity. It has high potential ridership wise. So it's something that's a very good first step. We avoid problems that we have in Chicago with access and other things. It's a mainline railroad in great shape. And so, when it comes to the Great Lakes Limited proposal and what the LRA has been doing, we have had interactions with Amtrak. Margaret Clark is their government affairs person, and she has taken our proposal back to their leadership, and I'm pretty sure they're interested. I have to say this route is probably the best in the country in terms of potential, just looking at the population and distances. We're hoping that they take this, and that would really make our job a lot easier. Most of you know, Amtrak has kind of had a bit of an epiphany in that they're interested in looking at routes that or services that might benefit their bottom line. There probably won't be that many, but it won't take that many to make a difference. And so we're pushing this forward as what we think is the best possible choice here. And that brings us to congressional contacts. We've been in contact with 5 congressional offices. The response has been very positive. What we're looking for them to do and want to push them to do is to praise and push Amtrak for creative thinking here, and also to tell Amtrak that should they decide to do this, that Congress is going to be there for them and bring in capital funding to make some of these things happen. Then also we have contacts with various city officials, particularly in Erie and Ashtabula. The latter, the city manager there, is all over this thing. So he's going to become a real ally. We've done, oh my gosh, we probably had 25 meetings, Zoom calls, in-person meetings in the last 2 or 3 months. There will be more to come. I hope to work with ESPA up in New York here soon. Right now I'm involved in a move, but that hopefully will resolve itself by the end of the month. Finally, we produced a slide presentation again for the Great Lakes Limited, and it has really gone over well. Glenn has seen it. Some people in Toledo have seen it. I've shown it elsewhere. People get it. They understand what the situation is. They don't want to drive all the time. Frankly, this is an area that could really benefit from this. Here's the ask. We need people to step up to the plate. I'm glad Glenn has done that, but we need much more. Particularly in Southeast Michigan. That is an area that I have little contact with. I don't know anyone there at all, hardly. So we need to reach out to Southeast Michigan, obviously, because I think they'd see a great benefit to this. They haven't had direct service to the East Coast since the 1970s, although they did have the Lake Cities that came down from Detroit to Toledo into, I think, the 1990s. But that should obviously be a goal of theirs. So we need help to spread the word. We can do these presentations anywhere. Just set up a meeting. We'll gladly do it. But, another really, really important thing to do is Glenn said something about a database, and I think that's really a great idea. Get those contacts. Who do we need to talk to? Who do you think would be interested? Who knows who? It could open the door to other people that we need to be talking to. And that goes back to also, we get further down the line, we'll set up speaking events. I'd love to do conferences in Toledo and Southeast Michigan, just to get the word out. One nice thing about today is I complain about tech these days, but it really gives us a great reach through Zoom calls. Things like this just weren't possible not too long ago. So again, I think 2 areas to target are pretty self-explanatory. Mentioned Southeast Michigan, but also New York, upstate New York. I'm told that the delegation up there along the route, the congressional delegation, would be very supportive, and I want to do that. Going to be speaking before the ESPA board here shortly. That's going to be on the 17th, I think. Looking for that. And again, we need people to join the fight. We've done a lot already, but my gosh, we could do so much more. Ed, I see your hand up there.
Just wanted to chime in, and this seemed to be a good spot to chime in on these couple of things. I have drafted several letters of support that different entities can sign on to, because we It's important to go to the congressional offices, but we want to buttress that with people in their districts and organizations in their districts, I should say, endorsing this proposal. Give them some backup. So I have drafted a resolution that city councils can pass. I have a letter that mayors and city managers can pass, one for convention and visitors bureaus, chambers of commerce, nonprofit organizations, colleges and universities. I have shared those with Glenn, and they're pretty much ready to go. So, Lakeshore Rail Alliance is a project of All Aboard Erie, and I'm working with All Aboard Erie to hire some unpaid interns. You can kind of partner with internships with colleges and universities, and the kids can get academic credit. And we're going to try to hire an intern that can help with outreach, in particular, starting spreading around these support letters, but or helping others such as Glenn, to help out with this. They would be able to work maybe 10 hours a week or something like that, but it's something to help out.
And when we get off this call, I'll take those letters. I've got them in a folder, and I'll take all those letters and I'll put them in the Google Drive as well. So everybody has access for those.
I see Jules has his hand up, so go right ahead there, Jules.
Thanks, appreciate it. I was going to follow up on the last comment that got made. I think reaching out reaching out to the college students especially, and being able to talk to kind of that level and that group and that age group of people is really great. Especially one thing, I know a big advertising point that myself and my former coworker Sally Fish, who I know a lot of you are familiar with, for a lot of people our age, I know one thing that we've been talking about to try and get more of a younger demographic, younger generations involved in it, is talking about what a big benefit this is specifically for college age people. It's really, I think it's a lot of the work going in this is about reframing the perspective on what rail is, going from, your steam engine choo-choo to something closer to a bullet train, at least in our mental perception of it. But that benefit to college students, being able to move around without having to bring a car onto campus, being able to get yourself to and from home to see your parents or see your friends at home on a regular basis. I think if we can really, I think in general, I think college age people are a difficult group of people to get to. But I think if we can get that group of people involved, see a big, massive benefit from
Yeah,
it.
set something up. I'd be happy to do the presentation and answer questions and try to bring some of these folks in. There's nothing like the power of youth. I mean, we need them.
Oh, I also have a general petition too, and the only information I'm going to ask for is like name, city, and zip code. So we can kind of correlate those with congressional districts, and they can see there's, average folks who in their districts who support it as well. So, and that would be something to take to college campuses, too. College kids, I think they're going to be all over it. That generation is way more pro-trained than the boomers and Gen Xers are. So I don't think it's going to be that difficult. We just need to get out there and do the legwork.
Tom, go ahead.
Oh, hear me? Yeah, speaking for a boomer, I'm tired of driving long distances, and
Mhm.
I use the Lakeshore to Springfield, Massachusetts on a regular basis. I'm waiting with bated breath, hoping I'm still breathing when I can connect from Toledo to Cincinnati because I've got family there. That being, I know several groups, retiree groups, that we could probably do a presentation. All I'd have to do, Glenn knows Marilyn Lucas, who's head of a group that meets here monthly, with the exception of December and January in the greater Northwest Ohio area. So, we could talk to Marilyn and see if she could get something going for that group, and you could do a presentation because they're always looking for a speaker. I put up some names. Dr. Patrick Miller and Lee Markham were both involved in transportation related committees with TMACOG. Patrick is involved, I think, with Mark. Lee, I don't know what he's doing, but he lives in Monroe. Patrick lives somewhere between Detroit and Ann Arbor, but they would be people who could talk to and who would know who to talk to. I think Debbie Dingle is interested in this kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's one I want to see.
Gary Peters used to be or was a senator in Michigan, was interested in passenger rail. I talked with him a few years ago here in Wood County about passenger.
Glenn, I see you've got your hand up now.
A couple points. Speaking from a guy that worked in the medical field, I've always we were always trained to always have a plan B, plan C, that sort of stuff. So, assuming that our plan A is Lakeshore Limited, gets state supported, and everything runs as we planned, I'm thinking that our plan B ought to be what happens if we don't get the state supported. So, I think we should be looking at a JRA, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, that's
I don't think the Ohio legislature at this time is going to support us so much.
no.
But what would be a better way to do it would be to do a JRA, and I'm thinking something from Cleveland to Toledo up to Detroit. If we can get that little thing, just to show them
Yeah,
that little piece of the
yeah,
pie,
yeah,
then we could probably hook in the rest,
yeah.
or at least we would get enough of a lever to push the state into supporting us.
Yeah, well, I want to say here, going back to the slide presentation, is that, I really, and Ed and I both agree on this. We really think we can win this thing with this Great Lakes Limited. Like I said, it's a simple proposal that anyone can understand. We do have Amtrak's interest. We've had nothing but positive reactions. And this thing has really just taken off on its own. It's got a momentum that we didn't have before. And frankly, before we proposed this, the LRA was kind of stagnating. We didn't have anything to really hang our hats on, and this has done that. So now it's more a question of, can we marshal the right kind of help to push this across the finish line? That's our challenge. Going back to what you were saying, Glenn, the Great Lakes Limited idea started out as a workaround for Ohio because we realized that the state isn't going to do anything, not in the short term. This also bypasses the corridor ID process because it's just a single train. And if Amtrak is interested, they decide to drive the agenda on this, it could happen much more quickly. I'm hearing a lot of positive stuff here about people stepping up and wanting to help out, particularly interested in Southeast Michigan, but also what Jules was talking about with reaching out to the younger demographic. We desperately need to do that. Set up some meetings, Zoom calls, bring in people. I'll talk about this. I'll give our full presentation and see what happens from there. But we definitely need to do this kind of thing. And also, here's our contact information if anybody wants it. This is my private phone or email. Although I will say this next week, forget it. Don't call me now because I'm in the middle of a move. I'd love to talk to you, but not now. There's Ed, and then All Aboard Erie's website. It's allaboarderie.net. There's some papers on there, some information on there about the Great Lakes Limited, about white papers that we've done and other things. So that's something you could visit. If you want to help, you can also donate to All Aboard Erie at that point, at that spot. They're the ones who are supporting us in dire need of help. They've been instrumental in getting the Lakeshore Rail Alliance going. So support them if you can. We're also on LinkedIn, Threads, and Instagram. Ed is the person who mostly monitors the social media. Ed, maybe you might want to chat a little bit about all that.
That's one thing we're going to be hiring an intern for too, to help out with that. I've had those pages up for about 3-4 years now, and I gave up on Facebook because I just wasn't able to build an audience there. Maybe an intern will have better luck than I did. The most engagement we seem to get is on Threads and LinkedIn. Instagram, we have an Instagram one too. I just don't use it as much because you can only post anything there if you've got a picture or video, and I just don't do that very often. So,
and yeah, as far as the intern idea goes, I think these 3 interns are mostly going to be in Erie, right?
Well, I mean, they'll be remote positions. I'm just starting out posting them at the colleges and universities in Erie.
I think at some point we're going to want to spread that. If that works out for us up there, who's to say we can't have interns in Toledo or Cleveland or any of that kind of thing. So we should be thinking in those terms,
Well,
particularly
they're remote
to reach out to
positions. They'll
younger
be able
people.
They're remote positions, so I mean they won't really be able to do a lot of in-person stuff. So maybe
Hmm.
down the road we can get more local ones.
Hmm.
Oh, Tom, I also have an account on Blue Sky for Lakeshore Rail Alliance. I forgot. So I saw you mention that in the chat.
The other point I wanted to make was I've reached out a couple times, Jerry Wicks,
Oh,
about
yeah.
about O'Hearn.
Yeah.
Anyway, I haven't heard anything back. Trying to do is get somebody that maybe he knows to be our contact person for the college portion of this thing. I mean, I'm going to start knocking on the doors to Bowling Green, Owens Community College, University of Toledo, Lords, that sort of stuff. I'll be knocking on the doors there. I think what would be more effective is to have one person handling that little ball of wax. So I'll be working on that.
Glenn, can I ask you, following this meeting, are you going to have a follow-up email with some of the major points of this meeting, what went down?
Actually, I'm going to post this video up on I'm going to post this video up on our NOPR website. We haven't gotten into LinkedIn yet. I've been watching Ed. I get Ed's notification every time he puts something on LinkedIn. And just this week, I was thinking to myself, well, we probably should be on LinkedIn as well. So we're going to wind up, that's on my list of things to do.
Yeah, it makes sense too, because you're going to go after that younger demographic by doing that.
Yeah.
I think that's really helpful. So let
So
me let
like,
me let me close my presentation by saying that I'm really encouraged by today's meeting, and I hope that I hear more from you guys, and that we set up some things and get some stuff going, particularly after my move. Just look forward to what you're doing. I appreciate that you've stepped up. It makes a huge difference. It's positive reinforcement too, let me tell you. It's great to not feel so alone out here.
Yeah.
Uh, so I applaud all of you for attending today.
Yeah. Well, there's strength in numbers.
Yeah.
There,
So I'm going to shut down the presentation.
even though you guys don't have to do it like right now, but if you could touch base on on that contact list and put people in who you know or something like that, that would be helpful. Maybe take a few minutes a day and just put two or three in there so we could just kind of gradually build the thing. That would
Yeah.
be extremely helpful.
Yeah, it really would be. And I think that if we do get interns, all that information is going to get shared into a bigger database for the whole LRA, because we have some information, that I've got in files, but not too much over in your way because I really don't know very many people there. But there's all, media outlets, congressional people, state legislators, city leaders, private business leaders, and you name it, the environmental community. Um, you could have organizations, particularly in Metro Detroit, probably that are interested in urban issues. You have a group called Urban Ohio in Cleveland. Um, and so, the nice thing about this technology is it usually doesn't cost anything to reach out. And I think we are organized about this. We can really make a difference.
so currently all we're doing is just like kind of uploading contacts.
Mhm.
And then like, should we be doing anything else in the meantime, or?
My first thought is that just start reaching out. If there's anybody that you know who may be interested, they need to hear from us. Are there events that we could give presentations to, like student groups or business groups or anything like that? That would be very helpful.
Yeah, that might not be a bad idea for a start. Let's use the first 6 months of this year just to reach out to different groups, spread the word, that sort of thing. And in the meantime, let's make this like a bi-monthly event.
Yes.
We can come back, we can touch base, and then we can figure it out next steps.
Yeah, we have to keep meeting. That's really important. It's really important to maintain continuity because it's easy to just, let things fade away after a meeting. You come away feeling good, but what are we doing now? And we need, it's a log rolling contest. We have to keep rolling that log.
Yeah, really, it's just, yeah, go ahead and start doing the legwork now. You've got the support documents, you guys know the people and the organizations in your area, just start doing it. We want NOPR to focus there from Sandusky up into Southeast Michigan. So, and try to get some inroads with Sandusky
You want, you,
city council and city manager.
um,
I've tried and they ignored me, so.
do you want us to forget about Lorain County? You want to handle that portion then?
No, it was, you guys were always going to be Erie County into Southeast Michigan. Brian Shriver was going to work on Elyria and Cleveland.
Oh, I can work with Brian. I think the
Yeah.
restraining order's off, right, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go to Elyria, I'm not going to stop you.
Well, I figure it would be an overlap that, you know, kind of
Yeah,
like a Venn
that's
diagram
fine.
thing.
You can't have too many people.
Yeah, that's true. Just coordinate with Brian and help each other out.
Yeah, I think we're off to a great start, and I think it's going to lead to a lot of other good things that are going to come out of this. Let's do the 6 months. Let's do the bi-monthly meetings. Let's maintain the conversation in the meantime. I think maybe if you're going to send this, you're going to post that on your website, but I think there needs to be a round robin email thing that goes on to facilitate regular conversation here. I think that would be very helpful. I'm on the laptop quite a bit to pick up on emails and things of that sort. And so, yeah, I think that would be good to keep things going.
Okay, do you guys want to, do you or Ed want to do that, or do you got enough on your plate? You know, do you want me to
We got a
do?
lot on our plate. We'd
Huh?
appreciate it if somebody else did it.
Okay.
To be honest,
Okay, I can write a
just
letter.
shoot out an email and then it'll just go organically from there.
Do you guys, anything else?
No, I don't think I don't know. I think we've got a lot covered in just a short amount of time. Ed, do you have anything?
No.
I think we're
Okay.
good. Well, this is very good. Let's keep this up. I like what I hear here. So let's go.
Okay, well, we'll see you in 2 months. I'll send out an email when, when it gets closer to the thing.
Okay, that sounds terrific. Lynn, thank you for hosting this.
No problem. And
All
you
right.
all have a great day, and we'll see you in 2 months.
All right, you take care.
Hey,
Thank you.
bye.
Bye-bye.